Hey, how you doing? My name is Lauren Hazel, and this video is in response to a post I saw by Brian, who is having some issues, and he decided to share them in a group in which two folks ghosted on him, two real estate agents ghosted on him, and he's having issues securing a client. He said he's been going at this for months. So I'm going to add a little bit of my 2 cents. Who am I? Besides knowing my name is Lauren, I am a marketer, been doing marketing, building lead and conversion mechanisms using email funnels, using traffic funnels such as Facebook, Instagram, and Google. So I've been around for a while. Some of you, certain people in here know who I am because we've been in other groups together. So I'm going to add a little 2 cents. What I'm going to add, you can completely ignore if you choose to, or you can heed the advice and maybe profit from it. This is something that I learned in going to business school. And I learned again when I was studying copy, when I was back in the day, so to speak, and when I was running one of my other businesses. So it's coming from good authority, not just something Lauren made out of her head, but from plenty of folks who've come before me who've studied this stuff and implemented this stuff beforehand. So I'm going to drop a couple of, I guess they call them nuggets or nugs or whatever the hell they be saying in here, and from the goodness of my so-called heart. So listen up or completely ignore at your peril. It's your life and your business. All right, so in Brian's situation, I asked him a few questions because I was a little curious because I figured that if he's having these recurring things happen, that there's probably something wrong with his targeting, which should be important to all of you because you are supposed to be traffic people, and traffic people are supposed to care about targeting. So you should care about targeting in your own business to get a client. And what I mean by that is that he said he was targeting real estate or putting realtors in his sales navigator, which you should see mine, which is all well and good. Now, right now, I got 8 million total, over 8 million total results, and so on and so forth. Way too many people for little Lauren if I wanted to hit real estate, which I'm not particularly interested in, but at this point. But if I wanted to, I would use certain criteria to make sure that at least if I'm going to go through the process of connecting with these people on LinkedIn, messaging them, and trying to get them off LinkedIn to a phone conversation about lead generation for their practice, then I'm going to make sure that I'm targeting the right people. One, they have to have the ability to pay for my services. And two, they have to have the willingness to pay for my services. And who would be willing? Well, people who have bills, particularly business costs, people who need to move properties because they have people in their office they really, really have to pay. Payroll. So that means if I'm going to target people on LinkedIn, especially since they don't tell you, like, you can't target on LinkedIn specifically like this business makes $3 million a year type of targeting. But what you can do is do it by head count. And this is the key. Most businesses that have employees, meaning they have a payroll, meaning they have bills to pay every 2 weeks, or payroll to fill every 2 weeks, are usually doing something to make sure they can fulfill that payroll. And it's probably not 99% reliant on referral marketing, right? And meaning someone is shaking hands and kissing babies or has some type of marketing that's going on behind the scenes that you may or may not see. So I would target people or companies that, number one, had employees, because that usually is an indicator of how much that business is bringing in. Number two, I don't want to talk to any old realtor. I want to talk to the owner. I don't care about the junior realtor and everybody else. They mean nothing to me. The only thing they can do for me is introduce me to the owner, because the owner is the one who makes the decision. Some of you have been talking to the wrong people in your market who cannot make these decisions. You need to talk to the decision makers. Now, sometimes the decision makers might be one person, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's three. It just depends on what you're going after and how they built their business. All right. So I never want to talk about what I can do possibly for them and how I can make their lives easier if I'm only talking to one person, because I cannot rely on me talking to one person and they got a partner in the business that they have to run things by for them to communicate my value, because it never ever works. I want to talk to everybody at the same time, or I don't want to talk to anybody at all. That just keeps this thing from being a time suck. So, but let's get back to the LinkedIn Navigator. All right, so I already typed in real estate, had this in here. I'm going to put in the criteria I said. I want, I could, we already in it. Let's see. Of course, good. Real estate. Waiting for this to load. Not everything wants to go slow. Let's see. No, I don't want any of that yet. Not commercial. Well, unless you do a Facebook ads for commercial real estate, I ain't doing it. Head count. I don't want an ultra big company. See all these self-employed people? They can't help me. That now I'm just making a generalization, right? If you were really doing targeted marketing, you would go through certain groups and see who's actually spending money on advertising. Because guess what, folks? If the company is spending money on advertising, if they're doing billboards, if they are using Google AdWords, if they are, using direct mail, they probably will be willing to spend some money with you for more advertising. That's usually a rule of thumb. Let's say I want to deal with someone who has 1 to 10 employees. Waiting for this to load. I can also add 11 to 50. This is taking a bit. Okay, cool. Now, once again, I want to talk to people who are the boss. So I go to title. And let's see, owner or principal. Waiting for this to load so we can do stuff. Oh, you know what else I didn't put in here? I didn't put my fault, geographic area. That would be nice. It's taking a long time. All right, so let's go geography. Where do I feel like targeting? Let's say I want to target New York. This is taking longer than usual. Okay, here we go. So New York City, 4,000 people. I'm targeting the city in which I live. We gotta wait for this to load up. And once that does its thing, there we go. Title. Owner. You could be owner, principal. Those are the people I like to talk to. And what we got so far? We got 478 results. Not a whole lot, but I put different criteria in here. If I want to have more results, of course, I can put 11 to 50 employees. Those are much bigger real estate agencies. And remember, I'm only targeting New York City. And I said those were owner. I could put, everybody's a little different. Somebody will put owner, some people will put principal. Which is someone who's the head of that. There we go. founding or managing principal of that real estate agency. And there we go. We got 1,300 folks, which means if I decided to go after these 1,300 folks, I could probably pull out at least one client at my very worst. So here we go. All set. So if you wanted to target this, you could, but this is what you do. Now, this group is more likely to have less duds in it. So instead of just saying realtors, which could be anybody, could be working under somebody else's practice, they could be just starting out. You have a group of people that are more likely to fit the criteria. Now, I think they had a seniority level. You could put seniority level in here. I think they had one where you can put time in a role. I go. I don't usually have to dig too deep for the markets I actually go after, but this is something you should do. Principal Older. See this guy. This guy might be a good guy to connect with. CEO and licensed real estate broker. This might be a good person to go after. Guess what? They've been there for 5 years and 6 months. Great. This one's 11 years. Because that's the other thing, folks. I like going after people who also been, they've been in a position for a while. So a person in 4 months and there's somebody else's name is not someone I would go after in real estate. Someone who's been there at least 2 years or so, because that means about comfortable in their position. Is more my speed if I were going after this market. So there's plenty of folks here, plenty of folks to go after. It's just up to you. So if you were to go after some of these folks, you probably might, I don't know, get a lead, get a lead that's worth something, someone who might not ghost on you, someone who will be willing to pay you at least a minimum of $1,000 for you to do your thing, someone who probably has a marketing budget that they can give you $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 to manage a month instead of you trying to make do with $300 a month. Um, things like this can really help you out if you practice target marketing, which you should all be doing because after all, you're going to be traffic people. If you want your money to really work for you on traffic, you got to be specific as to who you go after eventually. So that is my answer to Brian. I did some back and forth answers to that in that particular thread, but if you're not seeing it, this is what it is. People have the ability to pay, the willingness to pay. Usually means, in this case, the business owner or the principal or managing partner. Usually means someone who's probably been there at least about 18 months, about 2 years. Probably means someone who's working in an office where they have employees whose payroll they have to worry about. Most likely means that you need to go after, and you should go after those who are already spending money on marketing if you can find that out. So, all right, that's enough for today and for a very long time from now. See you guys later.